Hello and welcome back to all my divers out there. I am still on the road recording, that is right. If you watched my first video, I am on a dive trip. I'm staying in Metropolis, Illinois. I went diving in Penny Royale today, which is in Hopkins, Hop something, Kentucky. I don't know, it's out there somewhere. It was awesome, but I'll save that commentary for those videos. Right now, we are looking at Mermet, specifically about 100 feet down, right below the 85, or no, right below the deep dock. In fact, there's the 85-foot platform right there. I just pointed it out. Yeah, like I said, if you watch my first video, this was like dive number 4 or 5 registered on my dive computer. This was a weird day for dives. Kept going up and down for this problem or that problem. In this particular case, we were helping a gentleman find a fin that he dropped. Yeah, he was on the deep dock at Mermet, dropped the fin. We said, sure, we'll go look for it. I descend down there. I'm not going to find it. That's not the kind of thing I'm capable of doing. But you see my cousin Michelle there is shining, flashing the light in my face. She found it. And she found 2 things, actually. So she was gearing up for all of her side mount stuff. I talk about that in the first video on this dive trip. Her and Julia were doing side mount. And, it's like 6 gajillion times the amount of equipment that normal divers have. And she was gearing up and dropped her light. Dropped her primary torch. So if we weren't really motivated to go fin hunting after that, we were definitely motivated to go light hunting. And we got down there and she found them both. I really wish I had started this video so you could see more of the descent. I turned my camera on right when I got to the bottom where it was super pitch black. But there was a tree down there, and apparently everything kind of wedged up against the tree. I saw the tree, and I was like, what? I gotta watch out for the tree. It kind of snuck up on me. And I was freaking out about the tree, and while I was doing that, Michelle was finding things. Cousin Michelle found everything. So, very successful search and recovery operation. I actually got out of the water to give him the fin because, they were doing side mount, and that's like 20 minutes in the water, 20 minutes out of the water. Much easier for me to pop my fins off and go walk back to the pavilion. So I handed him the fin. He was eternally grateful. I gave credit where credit was due. Cousin Michelle, if you watch this, I said that you found it, not me. He said, I want to pay you. I said, she's not going to take that. And he said, no, I really want to pay her. And I said, no, she's really not going to take that. And I went back in the water, and we got back to our pavilion after our dive here, and we found $20. So. And, yeah, in fact, I do know Cousin Michelle took that $20 and put it back with their stuff. So, I don't know. Maybe they snuck it back to us before they left. I don't know. I really don't know. But that was a fun little side job there, I guess. So after that, we carried on with the original planned dive, which was just the wall dive at Mermet. And yeah, if I was back in my house, inside my element, I would have shown you on the map at the beginning of this, basically the dive we did. But if you really care that much, take a look at a Mermet map. Yeah, we started on the deep dock, basically went down to about 30 feet. And did a wall dive where we just followed the wall until, in my case, I ran out of air because they have 2 tanks, I had 1, and they're girls, which, if you don't know, girls actually manufacture air underwater. It's crazy. They go down with 3,000, they come up with 3,200. I don't know how they do it. Normal divers, mostly guys, we actually consume air underwater. I don't know. I don't understand the physics of that at all, but that's just the way diving goes. So yeah, we're just kind of following the wall here. I think this is a relatively short video. I hope, because what? There's some yellow sauce. There it is. Still getting, did I shine the light on my face here? Yes, I did. I thought I did. Yeah, I've watched so much of this where it's, you know, backlit and I'm looking at a silhouette. You know, it's still tough. Yeah, I got the Goodman glove on my hand. I'm very much a hands-free diver. I don't like carrying things when I'm diving. So I've got I've got the camera on my head. I've got the flashlight strapped to my hand. But the downside to that for the selfie action is it's very hard to kind of turn your wrist that direction and really shine that light in your face, as you kind of saw. So still kind of a glancing blow on the light there, but still better than a black silhouette. Yeah, I recorded this, and I kind of listened to the first track that I laid down. So I got a pop filter at home, and that must be doing a lot more work than I thought it was, because there was a lot of hard P and B sounds in my first recording, and there's going to be here too because I don't have the pop filter. So I thought the thing was almost a gimmick, but I've been doing a lot of recording. Maybe I'm just a little closer to the mic now. I don't know. I'm on the road. Things are weird. But yeah, the pop sounds were very prominent in the first dive recording, first voiceover. There it is. And they're definitely going to be that way this time. So I apologize for all the popping. I'll be back home soon. But tomorrow we're going back to Mermet. So as I'm watching a wall dive right now, I'm probably going to be doing this in about 12 hours. Again, you know, I love Mermet. I've been there a lot, but it's like, you know, what kind of dive am I going to do at Mermet that I haven't already done at this point? And there are some things I still haven't seen, but they're all deep. They're all really deep. So we started out deep right at the beginning of this segment. I mean, you saw how dark it was. You can imagine how cold it was. Yeah, Cousin Michelle actually went down there with no gloves on, I think. Or, no, what was it? She's team dry suit. She doesn't wear wetsuits at all anymore. She has dry gloves. Okay, that's what it was. She went down with the dry gloves, but she didn't have any insulation on, or very thin insulation, I think it was. So yeah, she said her hands were just totally numb down there. It was about 50 degrees, maybe less, or maybe less than that. Upper 40s maybe. And that is some cold water. That's some cold water. I found some Mardi Gras remnants, apparently. I don't know. That looks like some Mardi Gras confetti. I don't know how it ended up in Mermet. Probably not Mardi Gras confetti. Yeah, there was, spoiler alert, nothing too exciting happening on this dive from what I remember. We saw the spoonbills already. And actually, this is where they usually hang out, this part of the quarry. In fact, if you look at the map of Mermet, they even call this Spoonbill Point. Or not this location necessarily, but it's close. I love the leaves just suspended in water. That just looks really cool to me. I don't know. Looks like true weightlessness. You know, they say that, being underwater is being weightless. I don't know about that. It's probably the closest thing you can get, but you don't get that stomach dropping feeling, which I think you get with weightlessness. You know, being weightless, it's not because there's zero gravity. It's just because you're constantly falling. So you're in orbit. I mean, you're basically falling around the Earth. You're continuously falling around the Earth. You have such this might not be the right term, but you have such like a forward velocity, and the Earth is pulling you in, but it can't like pull you hard enough where you just can evade over the edge of the horizon. Or you can't evade over the edge of the horizon, rather. So you're always shooting toward the edge of the horizon, and you just keep falling. So you're always falling. So, you know, if you jump off a cliff or you take a roller coaster, you know, your bottom drops out, turbulence in an airplane, you get that, you know, stomach in your throat feeling. That's got to be what orbit feels like all the time, because you're falling. You're constantly falling. That's where the weightlessness comes from. It's not a zero gravity thing. So I mean, you're sitting in water here. I had a point to all that. I mean, you're in the water here. And yeah, I guess you're kind of like floating, but you're definitely not falling. So it's not true weightlessness. But floating there is pretty cool once you get your buoyancy right. Yeah, the idea is to exert very little energy. And, yeah, check me out. I actually led this dive on the way out. I was in front. That's a scary prospect. Yeah, I kept looking back. I didn't lose him. I'm a very weak swimmer, so it'd be very hard for me to lose somebody here. Now, I remember one time I was with Cousin Michelle and Cousin Tim, and we were at Hague, which is another flooded quarry that's in like northern Illinois, closer to Naperville, Chicago area. And I think Cousin Michelle had just gotten some new fins. And I don't know what it was. I guess new fins, but she just took off and just lost us, just smoked us. And I was in that peculiar position, you know, when you got 3 people, it's always kind of tough to decide. You got to pick a friend when you got 3 people, because when the group starts to split up, you got to pick your favorite. If you're in the middle, because somebody starts running off sometimes, and you're like, okay, do I go follow that person or stay home to this person? You gotta pick your favorite. You know, it's like, who do I want to see drown less? Okay, I'm gonna pick that person. And then you can get the worst of both worlds, where you get so far separated, because when you're the middleman there, you're trying to like find that distance where you can see them both, you know, and that stretches as one person gets further away, and you're just like, oh, and you can almost see them and almost see your other person, and then you can get the worst of that where you lose them both. I think this particular time I'm recollecting that's exactly what happened. We turned the dive now, and I went from leader to caboose. So that's Julia up front now, and it's Cousin Michelle in front of me with the white fins. Yeah, I don't know. The side mount is cool, I guess. I saw some side mount today at Penny Royale, but it's just so much gear. I mean, each one of those tanks has their own regulator, and you gotta like, you know, this is what they told me. So you kind of like trade off which one you breathe off of, just to keep kind of, you know, equal pressure in each tank. I think Cousin Michelle had steel tanks, which I'm about to probably put my foot in my mouth, but this is what I think works with those. So like steel tanks, and I don't understand the physics on this, but you know, as you're diving, you lose air, right? You lose a lot of air because you're breathing it and you're expelling it, and it, you know, bubbles into the water and goes over the surface unless you've got a rebreather. So I think you lose actually like 5 pounds of air while you're diving. But for some reason in steel tanks that doesn't matter in terms of weight and buoyancy. I don't know why. Or maybe the steel tanks are really that much heavier, and that lost air is a much smaller percentage of lost weight. Like aluminum tanks, it matters, and I can vouch for that. Even today, I was struggling staying down when I was running out of air. I probably need to pop on a couple more pounds for tomorrow. But I don't know. So Cousin Michelle had steel tanks. I think Julia had aluminum tanks. I think. What am I, 21 feet down? 750 air left. Yeah, I used and abused all my air on both of these dives this time around. A little curious fishy feller. Man. Yeah, you know you're shallow when you see the fish. The fish do not go into the cold water. Except for, I think the spoonbills might. That's why one of the reasons I was so shocked to see the spoonbills where we saw them last dive. Because they were 20 feet from the surface, and every time I've seen them, they've been deeper than that, so I don't know. I guess even they like to warm up occasionally. Oh man, I'm almost done. Yeah, I didn't do a whole lot of recording. Like I said, this was mostly a boring wall dive. No spoonbills, no gold. Just a moss-covered wall, or algae, or muck, or whatever you want to call it. Anyway, where I was going with the steel versus aluminum, they breathe off each tank. I think within 500 pounds they switch. Oh, we're done. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. This was awesome. Always love a Mermet dive, even though it does get kind of repetitive. But this day in particular was a lot of fun. I got Portugal or Penny Royale dives coming up next. Hope to see you there.